Hi everyone! Here's the new video tutorial on how to use the G-Stomper app. In this video, we'll teach you everything related to the use of the timing view. We'll learn how to adjust the tempo, apply swing, how to change the step timing and the measure of a pattern, and how to use the tempo and beat matcher. Let's get started! Timing and measure is the dedicated view to set all parameters around timing and measurement. The settings on this screen are used by all step sequencers. It is used to set the tempo, beats per minute, swings, shuffle, step timing, steps per bar, and the pattern length in bars. For menu screen, use the View menu to navigate to the Timing and Measure section. Timing. The timing controls are used to set the tempo, BPM, the swing quantization, and step timing. All controls in the timing section are per pattern. That is, each pattern may have its own settings related to time control, and therefore, when making adjustments in the timing control window, these settings will only affect the pattern that is currently activated in G-Stomper. The tempo, BPM controls are used to set the main tempo of the sequencer in the range of 20 to 999 BPM. Use the fader for rough adjustments and the up-down arrows for fine-tuning. The division displays define the fader and the up-down button accuracy, or in other words, the movement step. Tap the green display to change the division to 1, 5 or 10 BPM. A short click on the up-down arrows will increase or decrease the value of the tempo in the integer values indicated on the division screen, that is 1 by 1, 5 by 5 or 10 by 10 units. However, if we long click on the up-down arrows, the value of the tempo will increase or decrease in tenths of a unit, that is by 0.1 BPM. Here's an important hint. Please take note of the BPM indicator and the tempo quick access on the play button. Long press play to show its extended menu and fully control the tempo BPM on every screen. Tempo BPM automation. A feature exclusively implemented in G-Stomper Studio is that the tempo can be fully automated. This is very useful for smooth transitions between patterns with different BPM settings. By default, parameter automations for the tempo BPM are displayed in the settings. If you want to automate the tempo, you need to enable the feature in the Setup dialog first. The Setup dialog can be accessed from the main screen. To enable or disable this option, open the Setup dialog by clicking on the button on the main screen. Once the Setup dialog box has been opened, click on the Seek tab and check the option available for this purpose. Swing Shuffle. The swing shuffle controls are used to set the main swing amount of the sequencer, as well as the swing affected steps. Use the fader for rough adjustments and the up-down arrows for fine-tuning. The swing affected steps section allows us to customize the swing quantization. By default, with step timing set to 1/16, every second and fourth step is affected by the swing, which is in fact a classic shuffle. Turn the second, third, fourth and step on or off to change the swing affected steps. Unlike a regular shuffle setup, you can also apply swing for triple set timings. An important point, even if the swing configuration and amount are globally set per pattern, it can be enabled or disabled independently per track. To turn it on or off, use the track menu. Remember, to access this menu, we must long press on the trackpad T. Or trackpad VT buttons. Or in the case of the drum samplers, the quick access switch on the drum machine. Step timing. The step timing defines the note value or duration of each step. If you select 16, then each step will have a length of a 16th note. In the case of 32, each step is a 32nd note. In the case of 16 try, each step is a 16th note triplet, and so on. You can change the step timing in two ways depending on your needs. With a short click, you can change the step timing. This simply changes the step timing but keeps all the sequencer steps at their original position. This means that an existing sequence will sound different after the change, since the new step timing has a different timing for the steps. We must bear in mind, if you select a triplet step timing, the steps per bar will be automatically set to 12. In other words, 13 to 16 will be disabled. If we select a quadruple, 16, 32, 64, then the step bars will be set to 16. As a matter of course, we can also set the steps per bar manually to create asynchronous beats. With a long click, you can change step timing as well as activating the auto rearrange sequence. This changes the step timing and auto rearranges the sequence to the new timing. Please take note that the existing sequence might, depending on various factors, not fit into the new timing. If you switch to a higher timing, e.g. from 16 to 64, and your pattern length is already at 8 bars, then the rearranged sequence would exceed the max pattern length. In this case, the exceeding parts will be cut off. If you switch to a lower timing, e.g. from 64 to 16, then there might be steps which won't exist anymore in the new timing, since the lower timing provides less steps for the same time period. In this case, these steps will be dropped. Finally, it's very important to note that the shuffle swing setup and the autofill-in parameter of the main drum machine cannot be rearranged. The measure controls are used to set the steps per bar and the pattern lengths in bar. All controls in the measure section are per pattern. Steps per bar. Use these controls to set the length in steps for each bar in the pattern. This allows you to create asynchronous beats of any length. If you set the steps per bar to 8, for example, then the steps 9 to 16 on the step sequencer screens get disabled. That is, they will darken to grey. Use the fader for rough adjustments and the up-down arrows for fine-tuning. Just a small note, if you select a triple step timing, for example 8 try, 16 try or 32 try, the steps per bar will be automatically set to 12. In other words, values from 13 to 16 will be disabled. If you select a quadruple, for example 16, 32 or 64, then the steps per bar will be set to 16. Pattern length in bars. Use these controls to set the pattern length in bars. Use the up-down arrows to set a value from 1 up to 8 bars. If you increase the length of an existing pattern, then the existing bars get automatically copied to create the new bars by following the copy rule. This way you'll never lose any already programmed variations, e.g. when changing the pattern length from 4 to 8 bars. Time signatures. The time signature is a notational convention used in Western musical notation to specify how many beats are to be contained in each musical measure, and which note value is equivalent to one beat. Setting up a pattern with a specific time signature in G-Stomper is always a combination of step timing, the note value, its duration at each step, steps per bar, the number of steps per bar, and the length in bars, the number of bars in this pattern. You can either set these values manually, using regular UI controls, or you can use the time signature wizard in the toolbar on top to choose one of the predefined musical time signatures. In a moment, we'll see how the time signature wizard tool works. The timing info display in the toolbar also shows the musical time signature that corresponds with the set timing, the steps per bar, and the length in bars. When you change these settings manually, then the timing info display gets automatically updated. The time signature wizard. Finding the right settings for step timing, steps per bar, and length in bars may be tricky in some situations, e.g. if you want to create patterns of a specific musical time signature. The time signature wizard offers a number of predefined musical time signatures, such as 3/4, 5/4, 12/8, etc. All you have to do is select the time signature, and the wizard automatically assigns the correct settings for you. The time signature wizard is designed to use with new empty patterns. If you use the wizard to change the time signature of an existing pattern, then the sequence might sound different after the change. There is no guarantee that an existing sequence will sound the same or that it will fit the measures of a new time signature. Even time signatures. Here's a quick overview how to set up a number of even time signatures manually. On the time and measure screen, set the following values for 4/4. Step timing 16. Steps per bar 16. length in bars 1, beats at step 1, 5, 9, 13. 2-2, step timing 16, steps by bar 16, length in bars 1, beats at step 1, 9. 2-4, step timing 16, steps by bar 8, length in bars 1, beats at step 1, 5. 6-8, step timing 16, steps by bar 12, length in bars 1, beats at step 1, 7. 12-8, step timing 16, steps by bar 12, length in bars 2, beats at step 1, 7 at all bars. Odd time signatures. Here's a quick overview of how to set up a number of odd time signatures manually. On the timing and measure screen, set the following values for 3-4, step timing 16, steps by bar 12, length in bars 1, beats at step 1, 5, 9. 9-8, step timing 16, steps by bar 6, length in bars 3, beats at step 1 at all bars. 5-4, step timing 16, steps in bar 4, length in bars 5, beats at step 1 all bars. 7-4, step timing 16, steps by bar 4, length in bars 7, beats at step 1 all bars. 3.54, step timing 16, steps per bar 14, length in bars 1, beats at step 1, 5, 9, 13. 7-8, step timing 16, steps per bar 14, length in bars 1, beats at step 1, 7, 13. Polyrhythms. A polyrhythm is a simultaneous use of two or more conflicting rhythms with different time signatures. Since G-Stomper cannot have multiple timing measure settings in one pattern, we need to use the following trickery to allow this. Mixing 4th and 8th signatures. Choose a pattern size where both time signatures fit in. 4-4 and 12-8, for example, can be combined by choosing a length in bars where both signatures fit in. A 4-4 has 4 quarter notes. Step timing equals 16, steps per bar 16, length in bars 1. A 12-8 has 12 eighth notes, which is as long as 6 quarter notes. Step timing equals 16, steps per bar 12, length in bars 2. If you now set the length in bars to 4, then the 12-8 will fit 2 times in the pattern, while the 4-4 will fit 3 times into it. Mixing triples and duplets and quadruplets. We'll adjust the parameters as follows. Step timing equals 16 try or higher, steps per bar 12, length in bars 2 or higher. Now use step 1 and 7 for duplets, 1, 5, 9 for triplets, and 1, 4, 7, 10 for quadruplets. Another more complicated method would be to create the triplet beat, then bounce it as audio, and then switch over to quadruplet and program the quadruplets, while the triplets remain in the bounced audio. However, with this method we will lose the ability to change the tempo, as a bounce track is a fixed audio loop and no longer a trigger sequence. Tempo and Beat Matcher. The Tempo and Beat Matcher is a powerful tool to synchronize the G-Stomper applications with any playing music from any equipment. In the same way, DJs match the beats from 2 turntables using a DJ mixer and headphones. It is typically used in a live situation where it's not possible to use Ableton Link or any other automatic synchronization systems. All settings in the tempo and beat matcher are global, which means they're applied to the sequence rather than the pattern. Everything you do in this section is only temporary and will not be saved anywhere. To bring your G-Stomper beat in sync with a track from a turntable, the radio, a CD or anywhere else, do as follows. Plug your headphones into your device where G-Stomper app is installed. Put on your headphones in a way that allows you to listen to both the app and the music coming from the CD at the same time. Use the tap button to tap the rough tempo in. The longer you tap to the beat from the CD, the more accurate is the tap tempo. If the G-Stomper beat is not running already, press play to start it. And as you start it, try to match the first bar of the music coming from the CD player. The more accurate you match it, the less adjustments you will have to do later. Now give the tempo some pushes up or down. Use the BM nudge to bring the G-Stomper tempo in sync with the music from the CD player. And while you are doing this, use the BPM pitch to fine adjust the tempo. By default, the range of the BPM pitch fader is plus or minus 15 BPM, and you can adjust the range using the pitch range fader. Once you have matched the tempo, it might be that the first bar of the G-Stomper beat does not match the first bar of the music from the CD player, even if it's at the same tempo. In this case, use the skip control to jump one beat bar backwards or forwards until the first bar of the G-Stomper beat is in sync with the first bar of the music from the CD player. Have fun producing great music using the G-Stomper application. We'll be back soon with a new video.